Good Wednesday evening. Happy hump day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to For FSU Weather. I am Student Meteorologist Lexi Birmingham.
And I'm Student Meteorologist Sydney Welch, and we have some current weather for you guys today.
Yeah, not quite feeling like spring, more feeling like summer.
Oh, it is feeling like summer. Walking around campus today with a high of 88. Everyone was feeling it.
And I hope everybody was drinking that water too. Actually, I'm going to be at the lab later, and I'll be talking about some heat safety tips, especially when the heat is starting to come back. So I'll be at the lab to talk about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And everyone was staying hydrated. We didn't really see much of people actually laying out today, but most of the people were getting to their classes and enjoying their Wednesday.
Yeah, and actually the temperature may drop off by tomorrow. We do have a slight cold front that's going to come through, bringing the temperatures back down just a little bit. But by next week, the temperatures will kick off once again.
Yeah, the cold front doesn't seem to be bringing in too much moisture, but we will have those temperatures, as she said, drop a little bit tomorrow and then back up by Friday.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get this show started with Tyler at the Wall with a quick overview. All right, thanks, Tyler. We're having a little difficulty with this microphone. We'll bring it back out to in just a second. But let's go ahead and talk about that rainfall that we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Tallahassee this month so far has had 1 inch of rain, which is a lot below average. We are seeing a difference of 3.24 inches because the normal is 4.29 inches.
Yeah, I've been noticing this March we have been quite lacking on the rainfall. Maybe a few sprinkle here and there, but not a big rainfall like we had back in February.
There really haven't been many rainfalls. We haven't seen much at all.
No, not at all. And I know Apalachicola is a little bit behind, I believe.
Yeah, they have right now 1.1 inches of rain this month with a 2.61 inch difference.
Yikes.
Yeah, so they are also seeing that as well. Tallahassee is quite used to this though, because back in November, we had a full month with no rain. So that was a 42-day streak that we had with no rain the entire month.
Yikes, yeah. I just remember asking for rain. I was like, please bring us some rain, like weather, Mother Nature, please. But
and then we got the answer from Hurricane Hermine when she came along. She did bring us a lot of moisture, and we were thankful for the moisture. We weren't thankful for the severity, but we were thankful for the moisture.
Yeah, but hopefully we will start to see some more rainfall as April comes, because April showers will bring the May flowers. As we're almost done with the semester, those showers hopefully will come and bring a beautiful May in the next couple of months.
Yeah, all the students are definitely hoping for this great weather to keep our spirits up during these last few weeks of the semester. We have, I believe 6 more weeks, so if we can just keep some good weather going.
Yeah, in just 6 weeks, you can call me Meteorologist Lexi Birmingham.
Oh,
I'm
congratulations.
So excited.
Congratulations.
But you're not
Lexi.
far off either. You have 1 more year.
1 more year, and then I will be Meteorologist to Sydney Welch. Wow.
I know, it
sounds so crazy.
Moving by so fast. But now we're going to take it back out to the wall with Sydney. She's got a first look at our local.
Yes, and the humidity we were talking about, we have a 29% humidity, which is quite low, and that's from the lack of rainfall that we were talking about earlier. With the high of 87, we did have a high today of 89, which made everyone on campus very happy. Winds north-northwest at 12 miles an hour. Current temperatures around the Big Bend are looking all in the high 70s or low 80s. We do have a hot spot in Wilma at 91. First time our map has seen 90 since last fall. And we are seeing some St. Mark's at 78, Carabel at 75, and as I said, Tallahassee at 87. And we're looking at the dew points around the Big Bend. Tallahassee with a dew point of 51. We have some higher dew points down by the Gulf, Carabel at 69, and Apalachicola at 66. Because we're seeing the higher dew points because of the Gulf, the winds coming in from the Gulf and bringing that moisture. Now into our satellite, we did have a cold front pass over, and we can see it dissipating into the Atlantic Ocean, and we are seeing some of this. The white is the moisture that could potentially be coming through Tallahassee and North Florida for that matter. The green, which we do see disappearing behind this banner, is the more serious rainfall. Into our winds, mostly coming from the north, but as that front goes through, it is switching the winds from the north to the east, and that is due to the weak front that we are having over Tallahassee, and it's not immediately lowering our temperatures, but it is bringing in some clouds for tomorrow, as we see in this lighter area up here, and the green moisture, it is bringing it down into North Florida for that matter, and tomorrow we will see some cooling of the temperatures. Now into the future, we do see that this white over Tallahassee, and that is the moisture, and our main part behind us, we see the winds originally on Thursday were coming from the northeast, bringing in the cold air for tomorrow, and then Friday it begins to come from the the southeast, and brings in some warmer air into Tallahassee. Now for tonight, we have a temperature of 58 as that cold front moves through, bringing the temperatures down a little bit, mostly cloudy skies, and winds coming from the east. Now we have Thursday 73, mostly cloudy and breezy, and into our 5-day, we see Thursday lowering into 73, Friday 77, and the rest of the week seems to be warming up. Now we're going to take it to Tyler with the southeast.
Thank you, Sydney. We're going to broaden out the perspective of our forecasting prowess to the southeast, and the first thing you'll notice when we talk about the southeast is the amount of wind and hail damage we had across North Georgia, southeastern Tennessee, and the upstate of South Carolina. Over 100 hail and wind reports were reported yesterday. That energy went all the way southeast into Charleston, but it has since gone out into the Atlantic Ocean. Currently across the southeast, very warm temperatures, especially along the I-10 corridor, where portions of the I-10 corridor near Pensacola even reached 90 degrees or a little bit above. A little bit colder north of that cold front, with some cold air damming off the Appalachians, the flow off the Appalachians, cooling northeastern portions of southeast like Wilmington down to about 58 degrees. It's drier up to the north too, with some moisture with a sea breeze along the west coast of Florida. Over the last 24 hours, with the cold front, temperatures are up to 20 degrees colder than they were 24 hours ago. North of about Macon to about Shreveport, Louisiana. North of there, it's colder. South of there, including in Tallahassee, it is warmer. Across much of the southeast, it's dry. We still have some cloud cover across central South Carolina near the I-85 corridor in Georgia and in Alabama. However, across much of the rest of the southeast, including the Florida Peninsula, it is mainly clear at this time, which has allowed temperatures to go really high. It will be colder tonight across Wilmington and portions of North Carolina, where a freeze warning is in effect there. Otherwise, it's really benign, with only some small cloud advisories across the southeast. We still have a drought across much of the southeast, mainly across North Georgia and to southwestern North Carolina. We also had some significant drought and dryness across south central and southwestern Florida. Well, let's take a look at the Futurecast dew points as we put this into motion. We're going to see some moisture come in tomorrow in the form of cloud cover, a large area of cloud cover, and that's going to allow temperatures to fall tomorrow across our area. We're going for about 15 to 20 degrees colder in some places than it was today. But for tonight, temperatures will drop into the 50s and 60s in Florida, and the 40s in the rest of the southeast, maybe even the 30s in North Carolina. During the day tomorrow, much of the warm air is going to be in the central portion of the country near Texas. Some colder air again across the Appalachians into upstate South Carolina, highs in the 50s there. Now let's send it over to Lexi.
All right, Tyler, thank you so much. Well, like Cindy and I mentioned earlier, Tallahassee reached 88 degrees today, and with those temperatures rising, so are the heat indices. So here's our heat index chart, and I'm going to talk to you today about the heat index and some heat safety tips because the temperatures are getting warm out there. So here's our chart. So say about the humidity is about 75%, but the outside temperature is about 92 degrees. So you just follow it over here until you intersect with 92. It's going to feel like 116 degrees. Now that's really, really dangerous. That's the time where you say, no outside today. I'm just going to stay indoors, play those video games, watch YouTube, watch Netflix, whatever you want. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about some heat safety tips. Now the best thing you can do when the heat is high is stay indoors, keep yourself cool. But if you do go outside, say the basketball court or the beach, stay hydrated and wear that sunscreen. It can be very dangerous out there, especially when the heat index is in about the triple digits. So with that, some heat illnesses you can have are heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Now, they're about the same, but the symptoms are a little different. So with heat exhaustion, you will have excessive sweating. Maybe you'll have cool and pale skin and rapid but weak pulse. The best thing you can do is get to a cooler place, a nice air-conditioned place. Drink plenty of water, and if you can, take a nice cold shower. Bring your body temperature down. Now, heat stroke is a little different. With heat stroke, you will not sweat, and your body will reach above a 103 degree mark, and you may lose consciousness. Call 911. If you or someone else is suffering from a heat stroke, call 911 immediately. It just could save their life. Now, you're gonna stick around me just a little bit longer. I'm gonna take it out to the wall now with some outdoor activities. Now, it is a wonderful day out there. We're gonna start with the famous Jake Golf Index. It's gonna be a nice day tomorrow for your golf. Nice dry, but much cooler conditions, a bit on the breezy side. Winds coming out of the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, my beachgoers out there, it's going to be a nice day for that. The wind will be a little strong coming out of the east at 15 to 20 miles per hour. The surf will be a little choppy at 2 to 4 feet. Now, I mentioned that UV index. It's at 4 right now, which is pretty moderate. But again, with the clouds, you can still burn if the sun's rays decide to feed through that. So again, wear that sunscreen and stay hydrated. Now we're going to talk sports a little bit. Track and field, FSU relays all day on Friday. 77 is your temperature. The clouds will be there, but it will be dry. So again, wear that sunscreen if you decide to go out there, and stay hydrated, just like the track runners I know will. So plenty of action for Tallahassee. Tennis against Louisville Friday afternoon. Baseball will travel to Notre Dame. Game 1 is Friday at 6 p.m. against our rivals Notre Dame. Women's basketball heading to the Sweet 16 this Saturday against Oregon State. The winner will play South Carolina or Quinnipiac. I think if I pronounced that right. Here's your 5-day outlook. 73 degrees for Thursday, Friday 77, Saturday sitting at 79 degrees, and the rain chances increase this weekend. Now, Jake, you're going to take it off with the National, aren't you?
Absolutely, Lexi, and we're going to start off with the storm reports from yesterday. A pretty active day, mostly across the southeast, although we actually had a little bit going on in the Intermountain West as well as California. Even a couple of tornado warnings out by Sacramento, which is unprecedented for this time of year, or really any time of year out in the west. A lot of wind, a big line of storms that was moving through areas like Tennessee, moving into South Carolina, Georgia. Some hail reports also with those, and these are for the last 24 hours, so you'll see some earlier reports that have since vanished from here in areas like Missouri and Arkansas as well. Here are the current conditions across the country. The cold front really not making too much of a presence in terms of the temperatures. 87 degrees in Tallahassee still, 66 in Atlanta, though a little bit cooler up to the north. Really cool in the northeast. They're expecting some potential record low temperatures tonight in areas like Boston, where teens are possible in the overnight hours. Here's the water vapor, and a lot of activity actually in the western United States, as we'll zoom into later on. Plenty of moisture at the upper levels to work with here. And behind the cold front, some dry air is beginning to seep its way down into Florida, although we have a little bit of moisture behind it that can contribute to some of our weekend rain chances around there. The 24-hour temperature change, you're really feeling it over in Boston. 26 degrees cooler than it was at this time yesterday, 15 degrees cooler in D.C., and 19 degrees in Atlanta as well. Much warmer off in the Rocky Mountains and the High Plains, even some spots 30 degrees warmer than what we had yesterday in areas of South Dakota, particularly the western part of the state. Here's the national satellite and radar picture. The big feature that you see, of course, the cold front draped across much of the southeast, currently over the Tallahassee area right now, and a big high-pressure system over the Great Lakes right now. Again, drifting ever so slightly off to the southeast with time. So a very nice picture if you're in Indiana or Ohio, any states like that. However, it is an active picture in the northwest right now. Some rain and snow right along the Cascade Mountains. You see that well-defined line here with the orographic lift as you get these storms pushing off to the east. And again, more rain in the central part of California as well as the northern part of the state. We had some severe weather, of course, yesterday in areas like Sacramento, just to the east of San Francisco as well. The Rocky Mountains getting in on some of the fun there as well. Here's the watches, warnings, and advisories. Red flags all the way down the southern Rocky Mountains, and even some freeze watches as we go into parts of North Carolina. The Futurecast radar showing you a pretty active western part of the country, again, as we move our way into Thursday. Rain and snow, depending on really the elevation that you're in at those times. Now let's talk about tonight's forecast. A very, very cool night is ahead for the Northeast, the New England states. 14 degrees for your nighttime low in Boston, 16 in Detroit. Still pretty warm in Florida despite the front moving its way through. 58 degrees in Tallahassee, which is about 10 degrees warmer than our average low. It's 49 for this time of year. Nice and warm in Texas as well. Lows largely in the 60s. And tomorrow the heat hangs around in the southern part of the country. 84 degrees in Dallas under sunny skies. Not too much of a severe threat it's looking like for most of the country. But now we have Tyler to talk about at the desk with National Weather Service meteorologist Mark Wool about the outbreak of January 22nd.
Thank you, Jake. I'm joined by the warning coordination meteorologist Mark Wool from the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. Thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Yes. 2 months ago was one of the most deadly events in our CWA in quite some time. 16 people died, although during Hermine, amazing statistic is that 0 people died in our CWA. Why do you think that so many more people lost their life in this event than that one?
Well, the event we had in January, there was a number of factors. First of all, it was a very energetic event. A lot of the factors that we look for severe weather came together in a very robust way. We actually had 3 separate bouts of severe weather with tornadoes that were on the ground for a very long period of time, 25 to up to 70 plus miles. And they were EF3 strong tornadoes. So those types of tornadoes are going to be deadly if they hit homes. And, of course, time of day factors as well.
Yes, exactly. We really don't see those kind of tornadoes here as well, so people may not be as prepared for them as they would be, say, in the Midwest. Yeah. And you said one of the tornadoes, the deadliest tornado, came in at night. 11 people died in Brooks and Berrien County. My question to you is, how can people stay safe during the night? Because it's very difficult to get some warnings out.
That is, the nighttime is really typically where we see our highest fatality rates with tornadoes. And so what we recommend is for people to have multiple ways to get our warnings. They have to be woken up first. Most people are asleep at the time of the Adele, Brooks County tornadoes. And so no weather radio. It's been around for a long time, but we still recommend them for folks. A lot of folks these days have smartphones, and they can get the weather emergency alert to wake them up. The bottom line is just wake up, get yourself a way to wake up, and have a place to already decided upon within your home that will be your safe place.
Exactly. That's what the emergency weeks that we have for Florida, Georgia, and Alabama that the National Weather Service puts on. That's exactly the kinds of things that they teach you at those events. The meteorological sense of this event was weird too, because we went from enhanced risk to a high risk for the SPC. Why do you think that was, and how did you deal with that at the National Weather Service?
Well, I think the SPC, which had outlooked this event as much as 6 days ahead of time, was considering at least a moderate risk. But when the fatalities came in overnight with the overnight deadly tornado, I think that might have tipped the scale a little bit. There was a real chance that the tornadoes would have developed further south into Florida as well.
Exactly. And definitely want to be more safe than sorry. And during the event, it was also very difficult for you because the radar sort of went down. How did you handle issuing warnings during the event?
Well, it's always challenging when you have one of your radars out. However, I'd like to assure people that we have one of the most dense network of radars of any part of the country. And so
4 radars, right?
4 radars, yes.
Wow.
And so we had a couple of others at our disposal. We weren't able to look at the low-level storms, but these were big tornadoes. We were able to assess the mid and upper levels and get the warnings out.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everything you do. If you want more information, you go to National Weather Service /TLH and TA. That's our National Weather Service page. We appreciate having you on. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here.
Now let's send it back to the wall.
Thanks, guys. So I'm
Thank you
here with
so
the
much.
weather
Really
stem from the
appreciate it.
University of Miami, showing last night being a really clear night and then the morning with some patchy clouds. And then as we take it a little bit north to Tampa, in the Florida Learning Garden, we see that they had an extremely clear night as well. And unlike Miami, they had a very clear morning to follow as well. I'm sure people hanging out here were absolutely loving waking up to these beautiful clear skies. And we can take it to Choctawhatchee High School, where they had a clear morning as well, and then they had some clouds roll in throughout their day. So around Florida, we're looking at Pensacola being a sunny 84, Tampa being slightly cloudy at 75, and if you are planning to go to Orlando at all, make sure you're going to a water park because it is 85 degrees in Orlando. Fort Myers at 79 and Key West at a beautiful and sunny 77. Taking a look into our radar, we see that the front from currently is going into the Atlantic, and we see some clouds moving south over Florida. So Florida is no longer being affected by this front, but we do have some cool temperatures to come tomorrow. Taking a look at our water vapor, we see dry in the South Florida, Miami area, starting at Orlando, moving its way down, and as that dry moves its way down, we see the moist air from Alabama and Georgia moving into Florida from the north. For our drought situation currently, we see that the Gainesville, Ocala area is experiencing a mild drought, and as we go south, it seems like as if it's getting slightly worse as we take a look into our scale we have the Ocala area at that, and then as we go more south, it gets slightly more severe, but we do have relief on its way for the Orlando area as we do have relief on its way for the Orlando area as the rain is going to be going through, and actually the entire area for the drought will be recovered from this rain. Hopefully it will have a nice impact on their situation. And then it's going to be in Miami by Thursday at 8 and continue on into Friday. So tonight's forecast, we see Pensacola at 61, Tallahassee at 58, as we mentioned before. And then as we come down south, we're going to be seeing Key West at 66, some beautiful nights in South Florida, Palm Beach, Miami at 65 and 67, respectively. So into Thursday, we're seeing Pensacola at 72, Tallahassee 73. Bringing it south, we see those storms that we were seeing in our radar. And now we are going to be taking it back over to the desk with Tyler and Jake.
All right, thanks a lot, Sydney. We like to call this Numbers Guys at the Numbers Desk.
Exactly.
And what we're going to talk to you about here is some of the records that were broken today in the immediate Tallahassee area. Our record for today was 91 degrees. We failed to get there, topping out at 89 degrees.
Exactly, but 91 was the record high, which is actually the record high for the month, so it's very hard to beat that.
It would have been really impressive had we pulled it off. Other cities did, though. Perry hit 90 degrees the first time anywhere in the Big Bend, has hit 90 all year. Actually, about the hottest day we've had here in Tallahassee since Halloween of last year. Other cities that broke records included Apalachicola and Marianna.
84 degrees also was the old high temperature for the year. 90 was the record high in Pensacola, and that actually broke the record for the entire month. So, again, very hot on the I-10 corridor.
But thankfully, some cooler temperatures are on the way, as I'm about to show you right now out at the wall. So let's pull that up and get started with our final local outlook here, showing you today's almanac, a high of 88 degrees at the Tallahassee International Airport, 13 degrees above our average of 75. Again, not quite breaking the record. 91 degrees that was set back in 1935 here. Another warm morning at 64 degrees. We had a little bit of fog around here in the morning, also keeping things just a little bit warm out there. Here's the temperature spread. Some 70s in some areas that are a little bit stubborn, but Wilma still 89 degrees, Marianna at 88. Perry has since cooled down, but again, they topped out at 90 degrees earlier this afternoon, the first time anywhere in the Big Bend has done so in 2017. The cold front really is making its presence felt in terms of the dew points, the moisture content out there. Carabel sitting at 68 on the dew point, but if you go just about 30 miles north of Tallahassee, down only to 51 degrees, even some spots beginning to dip into the 40s. That trend should continue as we go through the night tonight. The winds also out of the north, wherever the cold front has passed here, out of the northwest at 12 miles an hour here in Tallahassee, 10 in Bainbridge, directly out of the north. But if you go by the coast, you have a little bit more of that westerly, southerly flow from about 10 to 15 miles per hour, as is evidenced in an area like Apalachicola. Cold front moved its way through, however, not much in the way of rainfall with it. Just partly cloudy skies really all day around here. Almost nothing coming up on our satellite and radar. All of the rain had moved to our northeast and eventually fizzled out by the time it approached the Atlantic coast. Here are the futurecast winds and temperatures for the next couple of days. Easterly flow being the dominant story for tomorrow here. A little bit of a cooler day ahead. Highs getting into the lower to mid 70s through most of the area, but still right around average for this time of year. Again, easterly flow maintaining into Friday, so a pretty similar day is what we're looking at there as well. Mostly cloudy skies really being the big story. And then Saturday, beginning to drive its way out of the south, more Gulf moisture working its way into our picture and setting up for some rain chances late Saturday and especially into Sunday here. For tonight, though, the cold front moving through, mostly cloudy skies sticking around. With that, a cooler night, but not exactly too cool out there. Upper 50s to lower 60s across the board, 58 degrees being the low here in Tallahassee. Tomorrow is really when you feel the cold front, at least compared to today. 73 in Monticello, 72 Perry, 74 degrees in Thomasville, but the high temperatures right around our average, which is about 75 degrees for this time of year. If you're going to be planning out your Thursday, well, it's looking like a pretty good one out there. 67 degrees at 12 o'clock. Again, much cooler than what we had here today. Staying cloudy all day, but dry as well. 71 degrees is what we're looking at about 5 o'clock for the rush hour commute home. Mostly cloudy skies. The clouds stick around for Friday, but again, no rain chances with a high of 77 degrees. Saturday is when the rain begins to move its way in, particularly at night. Nothing crazy, just some isolated scattered showers and storms. 82 degrees on Sunday, and again, the heat beginning to work its way back into our picture after just a very brief cool down. I don't even know if I really want to call it much of a cool down, considering we're just going to be getting into the mid 70s. But compared to what we've had the last couple of days, oh boy, is this going to be a relief.
Exactly. 15 degrees colder. It's definitely a cool down, even if it's just 2 degrees below average.
Yeah, it really shows you just how hot today was when you see that. Let's pull that 7-day up for you one more time here, give you a more detailed outlook of what the week is looking like. We're going to start off, of course, with the cool day tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies, high of 73. Friday, though, beginning to see trends of warming working their way back in.
Unfortunately, the weekend it will be wet, but fortunately for everyone else, even if your plans are going to be dampered, we do need the rain really badly this weekend.
Exactly. We're in a bit of a deficit, and the good part about this is a lot of the rainfall threat is going to be for overnight Saturday into Sunday morning here, with some potential thunderstorms, especially Sunday is going to be the more wet of the 2 days. But
let's take you off to social media, where we love to have you like us on facebook.com/FSU Weather.
Of course, we're active on Twitter. It's about our most active social media platform. You can follow us there at, guess what, FSU Weather.
And you can watch us anytime on livestream.com/FSU Weather.
And I think this is the part of the program where I have to say, well, let's give the Instagram some love. That's become my catchphrase over time. We're also on YouTube. You can check us out there. All of our social media videos are archived there.
Exactly. Well, for FSU Weather, we really appreciate you watching us. Student Meteorologist Harten.
I'm Student Meteorologist Jay Carstens. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow night.